Okay, I definitely understand in relationships when we're communicating with each other, male, female, there's points where our reptilian brain taps in and we're not, it's all instinct. We're not even thinking.
Our brains are offline.
Right. Yeah. So you guys figured that out.
Yeah.
If for someone who's receiving what you're saying, they understand it, they're aware of it, but they have a partner who has absolutely no idea.
Yes.
How does that partner help their partner get on the same page?
All right, let me start this one. So one of the things we teach and I've been supporting people with is whoever is the most resourced, it's their job to serve, support their partner, themselves first, but their partner in such a way that they do become regulated. We co-regulate each other. Co-regulation means essentially we become, if I'm in a really good space and I take that and I'm breathing and I'm really being with Alexi, she will then regulate, down-regulate to where I am or up-regulate to where I am.
Yeah, because sometimes I can go into disassociate, freeze, and check out. And so he can bring me back by giving energy to me and pouring into me, and it mobilizes my system up.
Yes. So here it goes. I'm going to go philosophy first.
Okay.
So my philosophy on all of this is out of 8 billion people, I get the opportunity, the unique opportunity to help my wife heal her nervous system. Out of 8 billion people, I'm the one person who gets to love her in such a way that whatever happened to her in her childhood, whatever happened to her when she was raped, whatever happened to her when anything went down in her life, I get to be the one person who can love her in such a way that she gets to feel like herself. And so with that philosophy, right, and I'm going to take it one step deeper. Besides her, besides myself, my kids are the greatest gift I've ever been given. Like, they blow me away. I get emotional thinking about them all the time. And one of the things that I've really been sitting in is, yes, I'm grateful that Alexi carried those children, right? She carried twins. She carried our other 2. But the gratitude doesn't stop there. Because as a man, I don't know what it feels like. She's had a period since 13 years old. Since 13, she's been enduring pain and embarrassment and all kinds of stuff so that we could have these beautiful kids. And so for me, it is an honor. This is what I want people to hear. It's an honor for me to be the one, whether she's doing that work or not, to help her feel loved and nurtured and supported and seen. And I think so many people we can be so, I got to get mines, right? There's a lot of energy around, well, you want that from me, you do it first. And to me, one of the best ways to heal a relationship is to take all of that and say, you know what? Whether I get it back or not, I'm going to figure out what this person, because whatever God created us, it placed this person on my path. And so I'm going to trust whatever that thing is and figure out what my partner needs to feel safe, because everything comes down to safety. Yeah. When we were at the edge of divorce for years, for 7 years, we were fighting. She didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe.
And it was low level though. Catch. It's not that we were fighting all the time. It's that when we did fight, it was like, oh, this isn't a safe space. We had high highs during those 7 years.
So many amazing things. We traveled the world. We did workshops. We did all kinds of stuff.
Crushed life. So from the outside, even to us, we're like, things are good. But what we didn't catch was the subtlety of when things weren't good in here. I'll speak for me. I didn't feel safe to bring it to him. And he didn't feel safe to bring it to me when he had something that was difficult to talk about. And that breeds an environment of I'm not safe. And an environment of I'm not safe kicks in survival, which breeds what we talked about. Now we're just moving from like hypervigilance. Wait, I got to watch you. What are you doing? What's that? What's that? And that creates more problems. And so I think the modern couple can really relate to that. And what he's speaking to is so beautiful. And that came after not being that for each other. Like what he's speaking to of like, it's an honor to serve. It's an honor to co-regulate you. It's an honor to show up. Neither of us were doing that for years.
I was doing it, but I was doing it hoping that it would be reciprocated. So it was an exchange. It was a, hey, I'll trade you this love if you send the love back because I don't feel whole myself. So I need you to complete me. So I'm going to do everything that a good Christian boy will do. Right. And what, the idea of a good husband is in hopes that you fulfill my needs.
And that exchange, anyone, but especially women, we can feel that. And that we can't trust that. It doesn't feel safe because it's like, you don't actually want to do this. It's you want me to do something back. And so again, that come from is so important. And I had my version of that. And so learning how to actually be with each other and getting to that point of devotion to each other's systems. So going back to your question, if someone's listening to this and like, oh, I get this, but my partner will not listen to this. They're not into it. They'll think this is weird. It is your job to regulate yourself first. Get yourself back to safety. So you're not looking at your partner in their survival pattern and you're going into survival. Because if you can hold safety in the face of somebody else's survival pattern, you can bring them back to their own safety.
Because someone has to be the adult in the room. Right? And most people think, because they see this person in this adult body and they go, oh, you should be able to deal with this. What they're not understanding is that, yes, that person is in an adult body, but what you're working with is the 9-year-old and the 7-year-old and the 13-year-old throwing a tantrum. And so what does the 9-year-old and the 7-year-old really need? Right? When our kids are acting out, what they really need is a hug. What they really need is compassion. What they really need is firm boundaries with love. Firm boundaries with love. Hey, that doesn't work for me. Hey, that doesn't work for me. And I see you. I love you. I'm here. What do you actually need? I promise you I'm here. I'm not going to abandon you. It's such a game changer when somebody has the balls, and I mean ovaries and balls, to stand up and stand in and in proxy for all the other people that hurt your partner and say, hey, I'm here though. I got you.
Yeah.
What's really going on? That's such a big thing, man.
It's huge. And it speaks to this phrase that is spoken about in the emotional intelligence world, where you connect before you correct. And a lot of us are correcting before we connect. We're correcting in hopes of connection. We're like, hey, well, you need to do it this way. And And then what we really want underneath that is actually love. But we're correcting, trying to get the love, not realizing that if we start with love, we can then actually both be available for a powerful conversation. But if we're not starting from love, we're just going to be in our righteous correction back and forth based on whose version of reality we're fighting for. So connection before correction is really the game changer.
And then one more piece, and I'm going to use my dad for this example. God bless his beautiful soul. Bids for love.
Yeah.
So couples will be in it. They'll be fighting. And one of them usually will throw a bid for love. And the couples that stay together and have thriving relationships are the ones who take that bid, no matter what it is, and build on it. So an example would be my father and I hadn't spoken for years. We hadn't spoken for years. And then one day he called me and he said, hey, how about them Lakers? And for me, I'm like, in my conscious mind, I'm like, bro, we ain't talked for years and you gonna ask me about the Lakers? But the truth was that was my dad's way of saying, I'm sorry. That was a bid for love. So you know what I did? I said, man, Kobe is beasting right now. You been watching it? He was like, yeah. He's like, I think he needs a new center though. And we're talking about basketball, but what we're really talking about is, son, I miss you. Daddy, I miss you. That. Couples that take any of that. Like, I'm gonna give you a real vulnerable example. We've been fighting before and we were fighting through text, right? Sometimes it would get really loud and all the things, and one of us slams the door and walks off and X, Y, and Z, and then now we're fighting through text. And there's been moments where she'll say something and it's veiled, it's inside of the text will say something that my personality is like, that's a sting, that's a jab, she's still trying to get me. But inside of it is something like, and like, do you even really want to still be with me? And I could see that and go, what are you even talking about? Right? I can take it at face value. What do you mean? Do I want to be with you? I'm here. We're married. We got kids. What do you mean? But the part of me that understands bids, right? Like this is a hook. What she's really saying inside of that is like, but do you love me? And so I have a choice in that. Do I fight the other stuff or do I catch what's happening in the middle? And if I catch what's happening, and hear me, I've messed this up a million times. A million times. I'd say the last year I've done really good.
Yeah.
At just really catching, and I've spoken about this. I do my best not to listen to her anymore. Right? Because when I listen, I'm listening from the analytical mind and I'm trying to like piece apart what she said and defend it and all that stuff. And like anytime something comes up, I go straight into what does my woman need? How can I be emotional containment for her? Regardless of whether it's something I did. I do stupid stuff, right? We're still going to make mistakes. And my first thought is not about me anymore. It's about what does she actually need? And I think that is one of the best bridges, especially any man can build, but anybody in relationship.
Yeah, I'll just speak from the woman receiving that. Like, I know a lot of women, because again, I work with women. A lot of women who have been married for a long time, have kids, feel really disconnected from their sexuality in their partnership. And it's because of years of resentments and years of not feeling safe emotionally. And truthfully, emotional containment, what he's talking about, that is like the gateway to our libido coming back online for our man. And so men often are complaining, man, I wish we would have more sex. I wish we would have more intimacy. I wish we were more connected. But that's a symptom of a lack of emotional safety. And that doesn't disregard anything that she's doing, right? Because often her lack of radiance, her lack of being in her aliveness is creating that resentment and disconnection. So it's a two-way street. But that is such a game changer for women, especially women who are punishing themselves and saying, what's wrong with me? Why don't I feel this way anymore? And it's often a symptom of a lack of safety in the relationship that both parties are responsible for. But if your man can step in and hold that for you so that you can find your own safety within that, that is like the key to unlock libido in long-term relationships. And a lot of women don't know that. And I feel like they need to hear that.